Welcome to Steelers Weekly. I'm your host, Brian Schmidt, and, of course, with me every week, former Pittsburgh Steeler, wide receiver Dwight Stone. Dwight, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, but not as good as you.
No, I'll tell you, there is nothing. There is something to be said about an hour power nap that will change your day. It will change your day. I'm ready to start writing letters and make this mandatory because I normally don't get a nap, and I got an hour nap that I just probably woke up from probably a half hour ago, and I'm ready to go.
Oh, wow!
I'm feeling it. Plus, always makes you feel good when you can talk about a nice Steeler victory, 43-14. This was, and I always get your take on this, but this was one of those that if you could look at how you would like the Steelers to play all year long, I think this game was what you would want to see every game in terms of every phase of the game playing very well. And I want to get your take on what you saw and what your feelings were on this one.
Like you said, every facet of the game. I mean, every team, special team did their thing, defense did their thing, offense put the points up. This is the kind of team I was hoping to see when they played Philly. And as you look at it, I mean, you talking about everybody getting the ball, everybody played their part. And, I mean, it was one of those games where you're thinking, like, now, these are the Steelers that I was hoping to see in week 3, and it didn't happen. But that I think they got that second win. They ready to take it into another level. Ben got his guys. Everybody's healthy, and everybody's back. So I take that as a plus. And, hey, best way to start off, Bell is back, and we'll take that as a win. Hopefully he's a good luck charm for us.
Well, look at the stats. Ben, 22 of 27, 300 yards, 5 touchdown passes. But here's the stats that really jumped out at me in 22 completions. Okay, which if you think about it, that's a good number. That's not, we've seen him complete 30 balls before. But in 22 completions.
Yes.
How about 22 completions going to 9 different receivers?
Wow.
Put that in your mind for a second.
Did not know that one.
Coates led all the receivers with 6 catches, 79 yards. Antonio Brown, 4 catches, 64 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bell out of the backfield with 5 catches, 34 yards. But from that point on, you've got Wheaton with 1 catch, 30 yards and a touchdown. You got Johnson, 1 catch, 26 yards. You got Grimble, 1 catch, 19 yards. You got Jesse James, 2 catches, 15 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yes.
You got Williams. You got D'Angelo Williams with 1 catch, 2 yards. 9 different receivers out of 22 completions. I don't know, but I know. There's been times where you've seen 12, 13 guys, but that's 22 catches, 22 pass completions went to 9 different receivers. That was the first stat that jumped out at me looking at this game. Spreading it around to everybody. I was starting to think I was going to see your name in the receiving thing. I thought maybe you jumped out there and got one.
Well, I was going to say, wow. I'll say, no, the way you feeling, I think you would have gotten out there after that little power nap you had. You could whip about.
I'm telling you, I think I could have caught a hitch. But I was looking at the stats. I was ready to see Dwight Stone 1 catch, 25 yards touchdown. I was like, whoa, look at we go.
Yeah, wow, that is amazing. That is amazing.
So that was the first thing that jumped out at me. Obviously, having Bell back was huge. 18 carries, 144 yards. Talk a little bit about, I obviously watching him, which as a sidebar before we talk about Bell, tell me you had wings during this football game.
I mean, it was just, wow. It was just feeling good. I mean, I felt it from the time, and just looking at your boy Bell, he has the most unusual running style that I've seen. He's kind of like he's jogging, hopping, looking, and exploding. And I kept watching him over and over. That's a very unusual style, but it works. And, I mean, he's a strong little guy. I didn't know he was that strong. So, I mean, sometimes they hitting him 1 and 2. Sometimes you get 3. And sometimes you think you got him tackled. He's shaking people left and right. And that guy like that, you got to have him accounted for. Because when you start putting 8 in the box, and then who you have outside, you got from Brown to Jesse James to the rest of the crew. And that's gonna be something to look forward to.
God, I love watching him run and just his patience.
Yes,
is unbelievable. He's so patient in, waiting for the hole to develop. Waiting for the cutback. I rarely, when I watch him, I rarely seem to ever really see him just jump into the hole. He's waiting, then exploding.
Exactly.
To me, that is, again, I mean, here's a guy without the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Quite honestly, might be the top running back in the NFL.
I do agree.
I think with the injuries, I think it's derailed that a little bit right now. But if he could stay injury-free and also stay out of trouble and stop, getting 3 and 4 games of suspension,
yes.
Here's the guy that could be top running back in the NFL because everything he does is just so smooth. It's just, and again, here's the guy I like. Now, the one thing I will say, I love his pass catching ability. I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see more of D'Angelo Williams. I know that there were some times where they had them both in the game at the same time, but I don't want, and I know, they said on the broadcast, D'Angelo Williams understands his role. He gets it. He's very happy. But to me, you just can't take that guy out of the game plan. And if there was any one thing I was disappointed in, that was it. And again, that's small. I mean, he did have 4 carries, 7 yards, 1 touchdown. But I would, I'd like to see, him getting, at least 10, 12 touches a game.
At least, I mean, you're right.
What do you feel on that?
I mean, the first 3 games, you saw what he can do for you. You give him the ball, you keep feeding him, he gets stronger as the game goes on. I mean, and that's the kind of guy we're talking about. When Bell come back, how are they going to use both of them? You got to keep both of them involved in the game. Bell coming back, I know they won't see, get him back acclimated, to this season, let him take the hits and the bruises, just to make sure. But my thing, I'm like you can't put D'Angelo in there and give him 4 touches and expect him to get some kind of feel for the game. Like any running back, they said, hey, like you said, 10 touches, 2 a quarter, add a 3 a quarter. But you got to get him involved. You don't want to have, D'Angelo, like you said, he knows his role. But here's a guy that can start for other teams, and you got him over there. I know Bell averaged like 8 yards a carry on Monday. I'm sorry, get my days. Yes, and on Sunday. But D'Angelo is the one. I agree with you. You can't let him sit over there and start to grow roots in the ground. You got to get him involved because that's a waste of talent on the sideline that you can be using.
Absolutely. Talk about Steelers defense a little bit. I mean, first of all, I feel honored that the coaching staff listened to our show because everything we said we wanted to see from the defense this week we saw. So I feel like they tuned in and said, hey, you know what, these guys maybe on something. Go with it. And I'm going to roll with that. Just because I know it's not true, but I'm going to roll with it anyway. A great mix of zone and blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, forced, interception, forced a fumble, but never at any point to me, and I want to get your take on this. I never felt like they were being threatened defensively. They understood. With Smith, the big key is the longer he holds onto the ball, the more problems he has completing passes. They put pressure on him. They didn't allow him to just, set and throw. They made him have to, again, come off that first progression, and now the longer he holds on to the football, the harder problems he has. And I thought, defensive linebackers played outstanding. What'd you see?
I mean, you're right. I mean, they must have listened to our show. I know that we gonna be worldwide pretty soon. We know people listening to us, but the coaches are finally understanding what we're trying to say to them. Yeah, right. But yeah, the defense. I mean, they had me confused because, even though I'm not a quarterback, I got the best seat in the house. I got a television, and I'm trying to read what they're doing, and I can't imagine if you're down there on ground level and you're looking at downfield like a maze. You don't know, okay, what are they doing? I'm not too sure. But yeah, the longer Smith hold the ball, the more I felt good, like, something good's going to happen. I mean, the pressure, the interception. I mean, early, I didn't think that. Once they got that momentum, the crowd got into it. I think, and after that defeat they had, I think they realized that we're going to go 3-1 in our first quarter, and sure enough, they are 3-1 now. I think defense and now offense and now I'll start saying the Steelers are back.
And what a great first quarter. I mean, first of all, and they said this during the broadcast, and I couldn't believe it. That was the highest scoring first quarter for the Steelers in Steeler history.
What?
Yeah. That was the highest scoring first quarter in Steelers history. The Steelers scoring 22 points in the first quarter is the highest point total they have ever scored in the first quarter. And they said that during the broadcast, and I was kind of shocked by that, but, yet here we are. That shocked me. But, defensively, Vince Williams, 13 tackles.
Wow.
2 assist tackles, 1 sack. Hayward, 7 tackles, 3 sacks.
Wow.
Just dominating up front. Which really, was that Steelers of old feel where the linebackers and the defensive front just dominating people. And it makes it a heck of a lot easier to coverage. And I thought there was great coverage all night. I mean, and I was happy again. Let's put this in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the man coverage that we saw from the Steelers is against Kansas City receivers who are not, it's not the greatest receiving core that you're going to see in the NFL, but at the same time, a great job of mixing it up and allowing that front seven with the linebackers and defensive line to dominate the game, and that makes it a heck of a lot easier to cover when they're getting pressure and again, now you're forcing Smith that he's either getting sacked or he's under pressure all night and can't get it to his first progression. I just thought it was I thought it was outstanding. I thought it was a great game plan and that to me that first quarter was I've seen some dominant first quarter. That was a dominant first quarter.
You're right.
So it was a huge win. And the best part of this is after the whole Philadelphia debacles, now I think we all as fans, as players, as coaches, I think everybody now you take that deep breath and go, okay, all right, the stars and the moon have aligned back up to where they're supposed to be. And the Ravens losing now, you've got the Ravens and Steelers that are 3-1. The Bengals are 2-2, and Cleveland is still trying to schedule Little Sisters of the Floor to get their first win. But it was a great win. Let's talk a little bit about the division right now, and obviously Baltimore losing by 1 to Oakland. I think Oakland is and I've said this on some of the other podcasts that I do. I mean, I think Oakland is going to be a very good football team all year. I mean, I think they're still maybe a couple of years away from Super Bowl, but a huge win on the road in Baltimore.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I don't know if you got to watch that Cincinnati-Miami game, but Cincinnati it's not the same Cincinnati team that we've seen in the last few years. A 22-7 win over Miami, but at the same time, and you should have it. It doesn't look like the same team.
They don't. 5-5 return too. Didn't linebacker return? He made his grand appearance also, and they're not world beaters right now. They don't, nobody's afraid of them, and they're 3-1, and we're 3. The Steelers 3-1, and Baltimore 3-1. You got, like I said, Cincinnati. I think they're trying to feel their way. I think they right now saying, okay, we got to find some wins, and the Steelers must continue doing what they're doing. I mean, the one thing you can't do is after a big win like we had, and sit back and say, all right, everybody know we're serious. You got to play every Sunday, and I think they learned that lesson early. What you said, which was great, that you learned that lesson early against the Eagles, because you realize, like, wait a minute, everybody getting paid, and you can lose at any time. I think they take that early loss in a more serious way.
And I know we talked about in our early show, as NFL players, you take the schedule in the quarters. The first quarter for the Steelers in their schedule, 3-1.
Yes.
If you're going 3-1 every, on every one of your 4 quarters, you're doing, you're going to be 12-4, and everything's going to be all right. So,
right.
I think it was a great win. Like I said, I think when I look, Baltimore right now, even with the loss, they're playing well, and that's going to be something. Cleveland, as I said, Cincinnati, as I said right now, it just, they're a tick off. It just, when I watch them, I'm not seeing the Cincinnati team now that I've seen in the last, 2 or 3 years. Cleveland, and I will say this with Cleveland, all joking aside, Cleveland's been in, it isn't only Cleveland's getting blown out every week.
Exactly. Yes.
They're playing well. They're just not. I mean, it's like going to, it's like going to a gunfight with a spoon. I mean, there's only so much you can do. And I think that's kind of with Cleveland what you see. But with that, we get into the next game, and that's New York Jets. Boy, I almost forgot what they were called. Wow, that was bad. I almost completely forgot what they were called. It was like, wait, what is that team called? New York Jets. There we go. The show started going downhill fast. You were going to have to take over.
I was like, don't take no nap right now, man. I need you.
Yeah.
I need you.
New York Jets. And it's, a good football team. First of all, I mean, you can't, even with the Jets loss to Seattle, they lost 27-17. But this is a good football team.
It is.
And, I think right now, when you look at this team, I mean, they've got, it's solid defensively. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I mean, he can look good one week. He can look bad the next. But, you've got Forte running the football, and he didn't have a great game against Seattle, but, overall he's been a good running back. Yeah. Brandon Marshall, from a wide receiver standpoint.
Yes.
This is as I said, a solid team defensively. You see that with, really the whole scheme and everything they do. I mean, I think Revis is not the same DB he once was, but
exactly.
he's still there. He's still a guy that can cause you some problems. What do the Steelers need to do to win this football game?
The same thing they did when they played the Chiefs. They got to come out like you said, 22 points is the most they ever had in the history of Pittsburgh. They had to come out and show them that they are here, to win. It ain't one of those, okay, we're going to dance with you until the fourth quarter, then we're going to sneak out a win. Yeah, they go out right now. The same thing they did to Smith, they got to do the same thing with Fitzpatrick. They got to make him feel uncomfortable. They got to make him realize that, hey, we're going to be hitting you, and they're going to hit it. But if not sacking him, they got to hit him legally without penalties and let him know that it's going to be a long day. And Forte, shut him down. When you start shutting down running back and you make a one-dimensional team against the Steelers and they can blitz, it's going to be a long day. And that's what the Steelers want to put him in, that long day, and we'll see what happens.
Now, when we look at, today, and we're doing this show on Wednesday, Steelers injury report, that did not participate in practice today was an awful long list, but that's not unusual on a Wednesday, and we're coming into week 5. Marcus Gilbert, ankle, Golson, foot, Ryan Harris, shin, Jarvis Jones, ankle, Eli Rogers, toe, Ryan Shazier, who did not play against Kansas City, still out with the knee, Cody Wallace with the knee. D'Angelo Williams was not injury-related, so he'll be good. Limited participation, Justin Gilbert, knee, Golden with the hamstring. So, certainly there's some names there on a Wednesday, but, for me, I know, on a Wednesday that injury report usually is a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Just because of, obviously you're coming into week 5 and, it's a good day to get guys a little bit of rest, and, there's a lot of treatment going on right now. So, definitely would love to see Ryan Shazier, get healthy. I want to see all these guys get healthy. But the one thing that I do like is, when you're not seeing, Ben on the injury report, you're not seeing Bell on the injury report, you're not seeing, Brown on the injury reports. So, a lot of these injuries as the week goes on, you'll start seeing limited participation, and you'll start seeing full participation. So, I think things will get okay there. But I know the Jets injury report. I looked, and I keep seeing TBA on everything, so they haven't done their injury report yet. So, certainly, there's nothing. I know with Ryan Shazier with the knee, and I know there's a few other guys that may be questionable, but overall right now, the injuries are not crazy as they've been in years past. So I think we're good there. But to me, I look at this game and you're right. They've got to keep it going with what they did against Kansas City. But I think the real key is now. This is when I like to see teams start to put that domination together and start putting those 2 and 3 and 4 game streaks together where you start playing consistent. Steelers have not played consistent yet this season. We talked about the opening win against Washington. Week 2 against the Bengals. That was not a Steelers victory that they did not play well. Then obviously against the Eagles, they sent the JV team. I think maybe they just stayed home in Pittsburgh and ate wings. Cause,
How was your wings?
Here was the thing. As a sidebar, I did not do wings on Sunday. I made barbecue chicken. I made barbecue chicken. I made cheesy potatoes, and what else did I make? I made those were the 2 main ones. I think I made something else too, but I think I've already forgot about it. It wasn't to my brand, but I went all out on this one. I went with barbecue chicken, and I'm my Sunday meal from now until another Steeler loss is gonna be barbecue chicken and cheesy potatoes.
Boy, here we go.
I don't change. I'm a football coach for 25 years, and I'll tell you right now, you know, we win. The same underwear is going on the next week's game. I don't change nothing. You know. So,
that's nice.
But I think I think right now, the real key is to keep that offense consistent. This is a Steelers team that's built on the offense.
Yes.
And we haven't seen that consistency through the first 4 weeks. You can pretty much take week 1 and week 4 and say, yeah, okay, there it was. You can take 2 and 3 and go, okay, yeah, not so much. But I also want to start seeing that, that consistency from the defense, which really defensively, we've probably been more consistent than we have been offensively. Defensively, really, you're talking about the stinker in Philadelphia, but good defensive performance week 1, good defense performance week 2, week 3, not so much. Again, the JV team was brought in, and then we come back last week with a good defense. So the defense through the first 4 weeks, I think, has been very consistent. So to me, it's keeping that consistency and now start building this thing to the next level, which to me I think is very important.
You hit on the head.
As far as this game, and as far as really now we're in, as you talked about week 1, you do this in the quarters. Now, what becomes the mindset of the players as you're now into the second quarter? I mean, now it's become a grind. Now you're in that grind time. What's the feeling of the players right now? What are they looking at?
They feel as though they won the first quarter, and the coaches probably showing circle them, hey, these are some good teams we played. This is one team. There's a win right here. Here's a win right here. Some of them was pretty. Some of them was great. Some of them, we're 3-1. All right, that's gone. That's in the past. Let's start from step 1 again. And if you're looking at it, you got the Jets coming in. When the Jets coming in, you got to realize Fitzpatrick. He only thrown 10 interceptions in 4 games. He threw 6, I think, against Kansas City. He only got 4 touchdowns. So that in their forte, he hasn't been doing much. If you can get them to throwing the ball, and you see he's giving it up, and you can have a pick fest. I mean, here's the kind that guys love. The linemen love it when they can pin back their ears and calm, and defensive backs love it because the ball can be floating. And you look at Russell Wilson had like 300 yards last week, and Big Ben had a big game last week, and his receivers and everybody are coming along. This half, this quarter, which is the second quarter, they have to come out and do like they did last time. Come out strong, but you want to keep that momentum going, like you said. You want to find your identity. So when they say the Steelers, this is the Steelers. You got a blitz, they got a zone. Okay, here's the Steelers passing game. Here's the Steelers running game. Here's special teams. Here's a game that you can't live on the past. You're 3-1. That's gone. Start a new quarter, and you got to come out. You got to come out blazing, like you said. 12-4 at the end of the year. I'll take that anytime.
And funny now we talk about this. You've got the Jets this week. You've got the Dolphins next week. Then you've got the New England Patriots.
Boy. Yes.
Then you've got a bye week, and then you've got the Ravens.
Yes.
To me, this is a very important time on the schedule.
Yes, it is.
And let's be honest. I mean, this is a quarter of the schedule where you can look at it and very easily see 2-2, which maybe is not
bad,
good or bad. But to me, this is important. This Jets this week, Dolphins next week. They are games you have to win.
That's right.
Because again, when you look at the last 2 games on this quarter, with the Patriots, you're gonna have a Patriots team that's coming. With Brady back. Let's be let's be honest. I feel somewhat bad for the Cleveland Browns this week. You've got Tom Brady coming back. You've got Tom Brady coming back, and they lost last week, and his first game is against you.
That's right.
Right now, not a good. It's not a good feeling.
Oh boy!
But to me, the important part of that is, you've got the Patriots, then you've got that bye week, and then
That's
you've
right.
got Baltimore.
Yes.
To me, this is where the Jets and the Dolphins, next week, got to get those wins because now, you're going to face the Patriots team. Boy, that's a game that everybody's going to want back. But if you don't get that Patriots win, it's not the end of the world. But you've got that bye week coming off that, and then you have a Baltimore game that quite honestly at that point could be for first place.
Exactly.
So the schedule sets up nicely. That bye week may come at the most perfect time.
I mean,
coming off that New England game, and then coming in and that bye week, it lets everybody get healthy. Coming into what will be a big game. I mean, every time you play the Ravens, it's a big game, but I mean that will be a huge game.
That will be a nice game.
So, when you as players, when you looked at that, I mean, is that really how you looked at it? Where you're looking, okay, this second quarter, I mean, we've got 2 big ones. We've got to make sure that we take care of business. Because I mean, let's be honest, the Steelers are going to be favored. They're favored against the Jets. They're going to be favored against the Dolphins. As a player, I mean, are these the games where you're looking at going? I mean, we cannot lose these games.
You're right. I mean, there are certain games you look at, and you look at them, throughout. You say, okay, the Cleveland Browns, they're not doing. We're taking for granted, but they're not doing good. That's kind of like a win that we can count on. And you look at, the Dolphins, the Jets, they're not world beaters. They're not scaring us. But you got Tom Brady, who has, Tom Brady's Tom Brady. I know people say things about him, but at the end of the day, that young man is good. He is good, and he's going to have 2 weeks under his belt when he comes to town. It's not the deflate thing and all that. And then you take that bye week, and believe me, come off a bye week, and you got the Ravens, and then you got the Cowboys, then you got Cleveland. You got to take advantage of to get teams that you can win. Like the Jets, you circle that, like, okay, we play what we know we can play, that's a win. The Dolphins, play what we're supposed to play, that's a win. Patriots coming in town, we're at home, we got the crowd behind us, but you know it's going to be a dogfight. So you got to say, okay, that can go either way. And you get a bye week, you win that game because you got a bye. But the Ravens are coming in, that's this is going to be a good one to see. Because if you go 2-2, that's like kissing your sister. You don't win. If you go 3-1, that's like, okay, all right, kiss on the first date. You go 4-0 in this quarter, you really think you're doing good. But I don't see, in all honesty, going 4-0 unless, you're on your A game each one of these games.
Right, and again, as we said earlier, I mean, you take the next 4, you go 3-1, and we're here throwing up money and kissing babies. I mean, we're going to be happy. I mean, I will. If these next 4 we're 3-1, which I think is a very real possibility. You're 3-1, boy. I mean, let's dance, because now. Now you get into the back end of that schedule, which again is not, not an easy back end by any means. I mean, you've got some, good football teams there, but the key to me is getting that win against the Ravens. I mean, to me, you get these Jets, you get the win against Jets and Dolphins, and honestly, the game against the Patriots becomes playing with house money.
Yes.
You get that win against the Patriots, and now but to me, everything comes down to winning the next 2 weeks. And then now you play that Patriots game against house money, which again, as you said, and I agree, it's at home. The crowd's going to be crazy.
Crazy.
That's a game that again, it's a house money game. But to me, the big key comes to that game. Got a bye week.
Yes.
You get a chance to really, get everybody healthy, and then you come into, to me, which is the biggest game of the season.
Yes.
Which is going to be against the Ravens. So, I mean, I don't want to look past the Jets and anything like that. I mean, we're looking, 5 weeks down the road, but, when we talk about the schedule and quarters, I mean, you look at this is very important, time right now. To me, this is a huge time because, 3-1 coming out of this, and it sets you up nicely on the back end.
Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You hit it right on the head. And the game's they play the Patriots at 4:25, so a 4:25 start can give the fans a little more time to get a bigger nap, or drink their favorite beverage, and they gonna be wound up.
Oh, yeah. I can remember. It's been a few years, but I can remember when Steelers played New Orleans back, 4 or 5 years ago, and I remember that was a 4:25 start, and I remember we drove from Columbus, Ohio at 8 a.m. We got to the tailgate at 1, and by 4:25, I mean, there were people walking into that stadium that it was like, I mean, you don't light a match. And, I mean, the thing that I took away from that game was just how loud it was.
Wow.
And I know the same way, a couple of years back, playing Cleveland, even though I believe it was a 1 o'clock start, but I just remember just, how loud it was. And just, it's just like, to me, there's that difference, in Steeler games where I've gone to where there's that difference between where it's a normal game,
yes,
pretty darn loud, but then there's that a little extra when you're playing a Green Bay, a Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, where you walk into that stadium, I mean, you can just feel the electricity. And,
wow.
And we're going to see that, definitely against New England, and you'll see that against Baltimore. It's amazing to me. So what's your prediction for the Steelers and the Jets?
It's going to be 27-10. Steve,
I'm going to go with Steelers. I'm going to say. I'm gonna give it like a 31-13. I'm gonna give it to me right now. I want to see this Steeler offense just really bring it. Again, getting that consistency back. It was nice Sunday seeing in a rain game. Play so well, and so now I feel like we're kind of getting back to that rhythm offensively. And I think I definitely feel like 31-13 is going to. I feel like it's going to be, but I said it was going to be 20-17 this past week.
I'm with you on that one.
They had it 22-0 in the first quarter. I went, well, this obviously is not going to be 20-17.
Oh man, I'll tell you. It's going to be a good
one. Any last words for this week before we get on out of here?
I would hope that Antonio Brown's doing more dancing in the end zone. I mean, he's scoring. And he got fined so far $37,000. So, but as long as he's dancing, he's in the end zone, and hopefully he's doing lots of dancing. That's a good thing.
He can take that out of the sponsorship money.
Oh, can you imagine? $37,000 2 weeks now. You got mine. All right, okay. All right. But, it's one of those things. It's always great talking to you. I enjoy Rhyme. It's a highlight of my week because I enjoy talking to you. And you have an insight, and I love to bring a spoon to a gunfight. I never heard that before. I heard a knife to a gun, but I never heard a spoon to a gunfight. Never heard that one.
Well, once in a while you got to throw something different in there. But I gotta this week. I gotta go get my chicken butt so I can get some barbecue chicken going on Sunday. Gotta get that rolling. Although I don't know if it's going to be televised down here, so I may have to forego the barbecue chicken. I may have to be at BW3 to watch the game. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that rolls. But we're going to be a good week. Always a pleasure talking to you. It's always my favorite time of the week. So until next week, Dwight Stone, I hope you have a great week. And everybody, I hope everybody else has a great week listening. And as I said, there's so many shows on Rolling Truth. You can download on Spreaker. You can download on iTunes. Anywhere there is podcasts, you're going to find us. And always download these Steeler podcasts because we have fun here. And until next week, Dwight Stone, this is Brian Schmidt, and everybody have a good week, and go Steelers.